Frankie Muniz on Child Stardom, Reinvention, and Why He Always Felt Like an Outsider in Hollywood, exclusive. Frankie Muniz wasn't just a child star. He was one of the child stars of the early aughts. At 13, he became the brainy, wisecracking Malcolm in Malcolm in the Middle, a role that earned him Golden Globe and Emmy nods and turned him into one of the most recognizable faces on TV. By 15, he bought his first house. By 17, he was on red carpets and in LA clubs with Paris Hilton and the Hollywood crowd. Though Muniz tells us weekly, he was always the designated driver. I felt like I'd lived 80 years already, he recalls, because I just did so much. Then, at the height of his fame, he did something no one expected. He walked away, ready to try something new after years of nonstop work in front of the camera. Between ages 8 and 21, I maybe had 60 days off, he says. The actor traded script for speed, reinventing himself as a professional race car driver and later a touring musician. I'm so lucky taking that step back happened because it made me appreciate everything more, he admits. It allowed me to do other things and realize a lot more about myself. Now, just months from turning 40, Muniz bears little resemblance to the dorky middle child we watched navigate the pitfalls of high school and contend with his chaotic family every Sunday night for 7 years. He's a husband to model-turned-photographer Paige Muniz, who shot his Us Weekly cover story, dad to 4-year-old son Maz, and a hot, full-time racer, while gearing up for a nostalgic return in Disney Plus' long-awaited Malcolm in the Middle reboot. I'm racing and I'm focused on it, he says, but I hope Malcolm comes out and people want to see me as an actor again because I would love to go back in that world. Catching up with us from his Scottsdale, Arizona, home on one of his rare days off, he's only been there 22 days this year. Muniz opens up about the price of childhood fame, the freedom of starting over, and why, after decades of transformation, he's finally ready to be Malcolm again. So how did the reboot come about? I think I put a tweet out in 2015 saying it would be so cool to see where Malcolm and his family are. I couldn't believe the response and how many people went crazy for that. I called show creator Linwood Boomer, and he was like, no, I like how it ended. Bryan Cranston, who played Malcolm's dad, Hal and I talked about it, and he took the lead in making it happen. It took 10 years. Did you have any hesitation about signing on? People go, you don't want to get pigeonholed as one character, but I'm like, wherever I go in the world, people know Malcolm, and they love the show and that family. I was in Mexico 2 months ago, and literally, people were crying me over how it changed their family dynamic. The timing wasn't perfect because I'm now a full-time NASCAR driver, but I wasn't going to say no because of that. What was it like doing it at this time in your life? Having stepped away from Hollywood a bit to focus on other things and get the opportunity to jump back into it in a big way was awesome. At times, you take things for granted. Now, I try to put more effort into everything. Why do you think people love the show so much? When it came out, everyone was like, oh, it's this crazy, dysfunctional family, and they fight and bicker, but everybody comes up to me and goes, that's literally my family. It felt more genuine and honest and relatable than most TV families. And you got more substance than you did with previous shows with a laugh track or where every 20 seconds there's got to be a joke. Were Brian and Jane Kaczmarek, who played Mom Lois, parental figures for you in real life? I definitely spent more time with them than I did with my family during those years. Especially Brian. Obviously, he's gone on to do so many huge things, but he's always reached out and supported whatever crazy adventure I was on. When I was doing Dancing with the Stars in 2017, he came on. It's cool to see, especially in Hollywood, where it's a world of people who are just so focused on themselves. What was it like having that level of success as a teen? My mom and I would go to 5 or 6 auditions a day in New York City and then go where they filmed David Letterman and stand in the crowd and watch the celebrities get out of their car. Or we'd go to TRL and stand in Times Square, and whichever celeb was there would come to the window and wave. It went from being in the crowd screaming for Hanson to 3 months later, I was in the window waving down to the crowd. It's a weird thing to happen. It felt like an out-of-body experience. At the height of your fame, did it feel like you had it all? Money, cars, girls? A lot of it was during the awkward years of puberty and growing up and try to figure out what I wanted. I'm thrilled that it happened prior to social media. I had all the cars. I was a big car guy. So yeah, I did get to experience a really amazing life in that sense. But all that comes at a super high price. Money does not buy happiness. Look at Hollywood. There's a lot of miserable people, right? Did your parents keep you on an allowance? We had no money growing up. If you grow up not having any money and all of a sudden you do, it's like, what do you do with it? You have so many people telling you, you should do this or you need to do that. My mom did not know what to do with it. She was so focused on taking me where I needed to go and just being a mom. For a long time, I had no idea what I was making. What was your love life like back then? We did watch you go through some famous relationships, like with Hilary Duff. I was not a heartthrob. I wasn't the Jonas Brothers or Zac Efron. If I was not Malcolm, would I have dated some of the girls? Probably not. Laughs. People would be like, oh, she only wants you for your money. I was like, okay, I'm happy. And she's not getting any. Laughs. There were definitely a lot of relationships that nobody knows about that. When I think back, I go, no way. I had a different experience because I was on TV or some of the more challenging parts of working so young. I remember at 13, 14 years old, when Malcolm was premiering, my mom would wake me up at 5 a.m. and I'd have to do 10 radio interviews, and she'd make me sign 50 fan mail autographs, and then we'd go to set and work all day. You don't take it in good or bad. You just have to do it. Oh, you feel like you lost any part of your childhood? No, I only know what it's like to be me. People used to ask me, aren't you sad that you didn't get to go to prom? Well, no, because I was hanging out at the Playboy Mansion and with Amanda Bynes and other celebrities. I got to do some pretty cool things. Laughs. What was school like? I was homeschooled from like 6th grade, even before Malcolm. I was doing projects here and there, and it's easier to not have to get work directly from the teacher and be late and miss school. Then, I graduated early because I didn't want to balance having to do 3 hours of schooling while filming. Being the star of a TV show, if there were 20 minutes between setting up cameras, rather than schooling, I wanted to sit in my dressing room and watch Maury. Was anything missing? Yes, but I don't know what exactly. To this day, I haven't figured that out. Maybe some of it has to do with having so much success early. You're always comparing things to that. I see people say, oh, he failed at acting.